book. I am excited to kind of kickstart this weekend with some fun reading, but it is my lunch break right now. I'm going to take Willow for a walk in a little bit and quickly have to run to the grocery store just to pick up some things for kind of Mother's Day weekend. But despite all the Mother's Day stuff we have planned on Sunday, I do plan to get some reading done. So I have exciting books that I am, currently reading or excited to start. But overall, this will be kind of a nice, relaxing weekend. We've had a lot of travel the last month in between, going back home to Toronto and all that stuff. And I've been really tired. So we're just going to be taking it easy this weekend. After work today, I'm getting my nails done, and then we're going to go over to my parents for dinner. And then Saturday morning, I have my facial, and then we'll just have kind of a quiet, cozy day at home. I think it's going to be raining basically most of the weekend. Unfortunately, where we live, it just basically, I feel like I never have to water my garden in the month of May just because of how often it rains. Right now the sun was out. It was raining this morning. Now the sun is out, but I think it's going to rain later this afternoon. So I'm going to enjoy the vitamin D while I can. But despite that, I have two books that I'm currently reading right now. First is the audiobook that I'm listening to, which is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This one, for my kind of when I take Willow for walks or when I'm driving to work, I've been kind of really into audiobooks since I've started my puzzling craze since November. And so I wanted to kind of finish this companion series. So I've read the third one just for the summer. And this one is the first one in this companion trilogy. But it follows this older woman who's 8 years older who lives a very kind of bougie lifestyle. She is a doctor. She has very high family expectations and kind of the family dynasty or legacy in the hospital. And she ends up, forming a just physical relationship with this guy who owns a inn in this small town, who, like I said, is 8 years younger. It just starts off as she doesn't want a relationship, she just wants kind of the physical connection, I guess, and it goes from there. So I'm about maybe a third of the way through, but this is kind of one I don't plan on finishing reading this weekend, but I definitely will be listening to it on my walks with Willow. So when you see me on walks, that's usually what I'm listening to. And then the physical book that I'm currently reading right now, I have the ebook from the library that I've been reading, and it is The Life She Was Given by Ellen Marie Wiseman. This one is a very interesting premise. It takes place in kind of two storylines. The first one is in the 1930s, where we follow this girl who has been kept away, kind of forced to live in the attic of her parents' house, and she's always been told that she's a monster, she's disgusting, all these things. So when her father, who really truly loved her, is away from the home on a business trip, the mother sells the daughter to a circus, and it kind of follows her story, kind of being forced to kind of live in the circus, but she forms a really strong bond with two of the elephants, and it kind of goes from there. But then we also have a storyline in the 1950s where we follow kind of the main girl's younger sister, whose parents have both died. She comes back to the house and she discovers that she maybe perhaps had a older sister, so she's trying to uncover the mystery of who that was and trying to figure out who her family was, all that stuff. So like I said, I'm about 50 of the way through. I am liking it so far. I don't feel like I'm fully attached to the characters like I should be, but it is a very interesting plot, and you can't help but really feel for these characters and their situations. And I always love sister bonds because I have a sister and a brother, so any of those sibling bonds I really love. So I'm planning to finish it this weekend. It is fairly short. It's just under 350 pages, so I'm about 50% of the way through. So I do think this is something that is doable, because the next book I want to start is one that I'm really excited about, and it is Shield of Sparrows by Devaney Perry. I'm sure you've seen this book around. I hear everyone talking about it because the second book came out recently, and after finishing my re-listen to the ACOTAR series, I've been wanting kind of a romantasy. They're just fun, I enjoy them. But it says, long ago the gods unleashed monsters upon the 5 kingdoms of Kandora to remind us that humans are insignificant, that we must pray to the gods for mercy throughout our fragile, fleeting lives. It didn't I didn't need a deity to remind me I was powerless. Being a princess has never been more than a performance. 23 years of empty titles and hollow traditions. My sister revels in the spectacle, basking in the attention and flawlessly playing her part. I was never asked to be part of the charade. Until the day an infamous monster hunter sailed to our shores, the day a prince walked into my father's throne room and ruined my life, the day I married a stranger, signed a magical treaty in blood, and set off across the continent to the most treacherous kingdom in all of the realm. That was the day I learned that not all myths are make-believe, that lies and legends are often the same, and that the only way to kill a monster we fear was to become one. Like I said, I've seen this book like everywhere, so I kind of want to dive in and see what it's about. I've heard like really great things about it, so I'm definitely excited to dive in. And we have a Barnes & Noble that is opening in a few weeks, like 5 minutes from our house, which is, you know, bad news. It's good and also bad for my wallet, but it will be good for me. But I'm planning on getting the sequel when it opens, so I'm definitely excited. Like I said, I've heard great things about this. But yeah, those are kind of my plans for this weekend. I'm hoping just to kind of keep it easy and low key and all that stuff, because I've just been very busy with work and tired. So yeah, I'm happy to bring you guys along for kind of this weekend.
much for calling.
Alrighty everyone, so it is Tuesday. I forgot to wrap up the vlog, but as you can see, I am at work. But it was just a nice weekend. It was nice just to have some quiet time. We did some garden stuff. We did a nice Mother's Day dinner. And I ended up finishing both my books. So I ended up finishing The Life She Was Given, and that book was really upsetting. If you don't I guess abuse to animals, I don't recommend reading this book. The end was horrific, and it's just not a good ending. I know this author, I've read her other books, so I know it's not happy-go-lucky, but it was just especially the animal abuse, it was a little bit too much to me, so where I had to kind of skip that part, because I was I can't read this. But I think it is a very heart-wrenching novel, so if you're looking for something that's really emotionally impactful, I highly recommend that you check that one out. Like I said, it was just, the animal abuse was just a little bit too much for me, but it was well written. It was just, I don't know, I just felt a sense of unease and dread, and I kind of guessed the big plot twist. So I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite of this author's, but I know she doesn't sugarcoat or hide away from some of the more, I guess, darker subject matter. And like I said, I just have I don't hearing about, seeing animal abuse in any form, so that one was just a little bit hard to get through. But then I also ended up finishing Part of Your World, and I would also give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a cute, just fun rom-com basically. I did feel it was a little bit insta-love, because I think they say it's only within a short timeline basically of meeting to kind of declaring love and all this stuff, and then spoiler, getting married and stuff like that. So I thought it was just rushed and a little bit unrealistic. And I did like Daniel, the male lead in this. You can tell he's written by a woman, and he reminds me of my husband. The characters she writes, the men she writes, remind me of my husband, because he's just so incredible and all that stuff, and just really cares. But the main character, Alexis, she was just a little bit kind of naive, and some of the stuff too, where they always have to throw a wrench in having a traumatic bad parents or stuff like that. It just is a little bit unrealistic. I'm can't there just be one set of normal parents? But nevertheless, it was fun, so I'm gonna pick up Yours Truly. I just have that audiobook on hold at the library, so whenever that comes in. But yeah, otherwise, that's kind of all that I kind of got up to. We just had a very nice Mother's Day, so that's why I didn't do a lot of vlogging on Sunday. But I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.